what happens in that delta between the hope for peace and the realities of life? Yes, we just heard one example of that reality for us. It was real. But I'm reminded of something I learned long ago in moments like that. And that is that and I can still remember my father teaching me this: look the other human in the eye, call them by name, and treat them with the dignity that you would want to be treated. Sometimes it's the simplest moments that pave the way for a peaceable kingdom. A sphere of influence that's peaceable, a reign, a way of leading and guiding that's peaceable. And it really begins with each of us. One of the most life-transformative experiences in my own life would happen around Christmas Day every year. See, my father was a pastor and later for 20 years served as a chaplain in a federal prison. And Dad would, during those 20 years, he would be with us when we sat to open gifts and things like that. But we knew that once the gifts were open, he would get dressed and go to the prison. And he would be there for probably about 4 to 6 hours, depending on what he encountered there. And I always wondered, well, what did Dad do on Christmas Day at work? Well, when I turned 18 and could volunteer, I found out. Because then we would gather together as a family, and at that point, when you're 18, you want to sleep. You don't want to open gifts. But he would wake me up, and we would go together. And here is my experience of those years. In a place filled with human beings whom God made, that for whatever reason found themselves in a place that was not peaceable. In a place, as Dr. Keka said, predatory space. They themselves victimizers. That moment when we entered into that space, by the way, if you've never experienced it, feeling those heavy doors behind you, 1 door, 2 doors, 3 doors, all of a sudden, you're in an alternative universe where people dress exactly alike and move in smaller groups. A place where you know there's violent people all around you. But on that day, I saw my dad walking the hallways like I walk these hallways on Christmas Day, hugging on guys and wishing them a Merry Christmas and asking them about their children and spouses and grandchildren and their mothers and their fathers. And he would know them by name, and he would introduce me as, oh, this is my son. And for that moment, they too experienced a peaceable kingdom. They too went beyond the labels of being convicts or being violent offenders or being a people who messed up one day. For that moment, they experienced the light of Christ. And for that moment, I too saw Jesus being born in a way that I had never experienced before, and honestly, I haven't experienced since. For that moment, I was hopeful that maybe, just maybe, if the peaceable kingdom can be born in a prison, it can be born anywhere. Amen.